Title: My wife secretly installed an app at midnight to access my bank details. She used this information to take $400,000 and went on a trip with her boyfriend. When she returned, she mocked me, saying, "Thanks to your mobile, I really enjoyed spending your $400,000. I couldn't hold back my laughter because the bank data she accessed was actually... Chapter 1: Midnight Movements. It was exactly 2:17 a.m. when I felt the bed shift slightly. Talia, my wife of 6 years, slid out from under the covers like a whisper. I watched, eyes half-lidded through the slit of lashes, pretending to be asleep. I'd learned to do that in Afghanistan, where pretending to sleep sometimes kept you alive. I heard her move to the hallway, then quietly down to the living room. Curious, I waited 10 minutes. Then I followed. She sat on the couch with her back to me, softly lit by the glow of my phone screen. Not hers, mine. I recognized the cracked corner on the case. She'd unlocked it somehow, maybe while I was asleep, maybe before. She was downloading something, an app, a strange one with a generic name that would get lost in a list of apps. Her fingers flew across the screen like she'd done it before. When she heard a floorboard creak under my weight, she turned quickly. "Oh, you scared me," she said, trying to smile. "What are you doing with my phone?" I asked, voice even. "Just checking something. I was trying to look at the pictures we took at dinner." "Yours are better than mine," she said with a casual tone. Too casual. I nodded. "Bring it back upstairs when you're done." I turned without waiting for her reply. She thought I believed her, but what she didn't know was this. That very afternoon, I'd received an alert from my cybersecurity service, an unauthorized login attempt on my sandbox banking environment, the fake one I'd created months ago. I'd suspected someone was snooping, and now I knew exactly who. Talia had crossed a line, and she had no idea the trap had already been set. Chapter 2: The Disappearing Act. 3 days later, Talia was gone. Not missing, not kidnapped, just gone. I came home from the gym on a quiet Friday evening to find the house eerily silent. Her closet, half empty, bathroom shelf, bare, jewelry box, wiped clean. The only thing she left behind was a hastily scribbled note on the kitchen island. "Don't bother calling. I've moved on. You'll be fine. I'm finally choosing happiness. Goodbye." And taped to it, a printed bank notification showing $400,000 transferred out of what she assumed was my main account, an account she thought she had snuck access to through the Midnight app. My heart rate didn't spike. My hands didn't tremble. I didn't even curse. Instead, I walked to my study, logged into my secure terminal, and checked my hidden accounts, the real ones, still untouched. You see, I'm not the kind of man you can steal from without consequences. Talia had accessed a fake bank portal I'd custom built, designed to look exactly like my real Chase interface. Same layout, same notifications, same everything. Except it wasn't connected to my real assets. It was a closed system, coded and run off a local server, a decoy. She had stolen $400,000 in cryptocurrency from a wallet I generated specifically for this plan. And where had the actual funds gone? Months ago, I had started transferring our real savings, quietly, legally, into a trust, one under my name only. She didn't notice because she was too busy with her affair partner to pay attention to our actual accounts. And I had receipts, all of them. Talia had no clue that the money she gleefully withdrew had no legal standing, no FDIC insurance, and no recoverable trail, because it was never real to begin with. I checked the IP logs from my decoy wallet. They showed activity from Ibiza. Of course, the irony? I'd even named the crypto wallet Fantasy Fund as a joke. I closed my laptop with a smile and walked outside to the porch. I lit a cigar and stared into the fading sunset. She thought she'd just pulled off the perfect heist. She had no idea it was me who had orchestrated the setup, and she had no clue the real show was just about to begin. Chapter 3. Her Grand Return and My Calm Smile. It was a Tuesday morning when I heard the garage door creak open, followed by the unmistakable click of heels on marble. She was back. I didn't rush to greet her. I didn't even glance up from my coffee. I simply sat at the dining table, dressed in a crisp black suit, laptop open, a calm jazz melody playing from the speakers. Talia strutted in like she owned the world. Skin sun-kissed from tropical beaches, hair curled to perfection, designer sunglasses pushed up on her head. She reeked of confidence and Chanel. Behind her, 2 Louis Vuitton suitcases rolled across the floor as her smug voice echoed, "Well, well, well, missed me?" I slowly took a sip, then looked up, feigning surprise. "You're back," I said evenly. She laughed, tossed her purse on the couch, and pulled out a tiny silver flash drive, waving it like a trophy. "I thought you'd at least put up a fight, but no, you just let me take what I wanted. I gotta say, thanks to your mobile banking habits, that $400,000 felt amazing in Europe." She flopped down across from me and grinned wide. "Hope you don't mind. I had to test out your little emergency fund while you sulked like a good little husband." I stared at her for a beat, then chuckled. "What's so funny?" she asked, narrowing her eyes. I pushed my laptop forward, rotated the screen so she could see, and hit the space bar. There it was. Footage. Her at the airport, kissing her boyfriend. Her accessing my bank app at midnight, the moment the fake transfer went through. Her typing her name on the check-in form at a luxury hotel in Ibiza. I clicked again. A second window opened. A document on legal letterhead. Notice of premeditated financial fraud and asset theft evidence submitted for case number 48-5, a 7-9B filed under seal, time-stamped, digitally certified. Her eyes widened. What is this?" I stood up, calm and deliberate. "That? That's the beginning of the end of your fantasy." She scoffed. "You're bluffing. You can't prove anything." I raised an eyebrow. "That flash drive in your purse? I cloned it last night. It's full of metadata, geolocation tags, exact timestamps, even an unencrypted key you left behind in my server logs." Her face turned pale. "And that phone you used?" "It wasn't just accessing my account. It was recording every step, every keystroke, every swipe." "Wait. No, that's not... It's all admissible," I said. "And guess what? I haven't even pressed charges. Yet." Her smugness collapsed into panic. But that money, it's gone. We spent it. What are you even after?" I leaned forward slightly. "You." Chapter 4. The boyfriend, the blowback, and the trapped Talia was still frozen in place when the doorbell rang. She jumped. I didn't. I walked to the door slowly, opened it, and stepped aside. Standing there was a man in a tailored navy suit, mid-30s, chiseled jaw, expression unreadable. "Detective Warren Matthews, Financial Crimes Division," he said calmly. "May we come in?" Behind him stood another officer, this one in plain clothes, holding a tablet and a black folder. Talia's mouth dropped open. What is this? You actually called the cops?" I smiled, finally letting some of the satisfaction bleed through. Not quite. Detective Matthews isn't here to arrest you, not yet. He's just here to confirm something for me about your little vacation. Matthews sat down across from her and opened the folder. Miss Talia Brandt, he began professionally, we have statements and signed receipts connecting your passport, your phone's IP address, and this man's bank account to a series of high-value transactions made across Spain, France, and Italy, mostly luxury accommodations, jewelry, and club charges. Do you deny being in Europe for the past 2 weeks with a man named Alec Raines? Talia glanced at me, horrified. You gave them everything? I shrugged. Oh, I didn't have to. Alec did. Her eyes snapped wide. What? I slid my phone across the table. On the screen was a live photo from earlier this morning. Alec in handcuffs being led out of a luxury condo in L.A. You see, I continued, Alec wasn't just your side fling. He was also a serial scammer under investigation for 3 other major financial fraud cases. What you didn't know was that he was using you too, laundering stolen money through your new lifestyle. Matthews nodded. We picked him up this morning. He's been talking nonstop. Apparently, he kept screenshots, chats, videos, even bragged about you setting up the fake bank transfers yourself. Talia began hyperventilating. I didn't know. He told me you were hiding money from me. Oh, I was, I said, sipping my coffee. But not for the reason you think. I stood and walked over to the wall safe. With a few beeps, I opened it and pulled out a single folder, thick, black, stamped with gold ink. I dropped it on the table in front of her. Divorce papers, filed, with full evidence of fraud. By the way, I added casually, the money you thought you stole? It wasn't real. That account was a mock shell, populated with simulations and dummy routing numbers. You stole $0, Talia. Her face collapsed. But the hotel bookings, the first-class flights? Covered, I said. All prepaid by a burner credit I canceled the moment you landed. Matthews smiled faintly. She'll still be charged for intent to defraud and aiding a known felon. Talia turned ghost white. You destroyed me, she whispered. I stared into her eyes, voice calm and razor sharp. No, Talia. You destroyed yourself. I just made sure the mirror was crystal clear. Chapter 5. Ruins in Real Time. 2 days after Detective Matthews left with a trembling Talia, who was now out on bail and staying in a dingy motel, I poured myself a glass of scotch, sat back on my couch, and opened my laptop. It was time to flip the final switch. While Talia may have mocked me for being too boring, too honest, too trusting, what she never understood was that I was also methodical and connected. Weeks before she made her move, I'd already hired a cybersecurity consultant to track activity on my devices. Once I caught the app install attempt, I cloned a fake banking interface, complete with false balances, duplicate login prompts, and honeypot security triggers. Everything she saw was what I wanted her to see. Now, I was ready to take the final step. I uploaded a carefully edited video to a private YouTube link. It began with security cam footage from our home, her sneaking into my study at midnight, then screenshots of the fake account she accessed, photos of her and Alex sipping champagne in Paris, time-stamped, geolocated, unarguable. Then, the kicker, audio from Alex's confession, where he laughed and said, Talia's the easiest mark I've ever met. Thought she was running the con. Joke's on her. I sent the video link to her company's HR, the partners at her firm, a few of her prestige social circles, and of course her parents, who had once said, You're lucky she picked you. Within hours, it exploded. First came the texts, then the voicemails, Then the news that her company had placed her on indefinite unpaid leave pending internal investigation. Her Instagram went dark. Her so-called best friend, Jessica, left me a voicemail. "I can't believe she did this to you. I'm sorry. If you need anything, even just to talk, I'm here." Deleted that one. Then came the call I'd been waiting for. Unknown number. I answered. "You really think you've won, don't you?" Talia's voice rasped, broken, exhausted. "No," I said calmly. "Winning would have meant I wanted revenge. I didn't. I wanted peace. You just made sure I had to go through hell to get it." "I'll tell everyone this was your plan," she hissed. "You manipulated me, gaslit me, drove me to it." "Feel free," I replied. "They've all seen the video. You'd be better off working on a plea deal than on a sympathy campaign." She went quiet. Then, click. The next morning, the headlines hit. Prominent corporate executive implicated in multi-country fraud scandal. Romantic ties to notorious con man exposed. I turned off my phone, packed my bags, walked out to the airport with nothing but a duffel bag and a one-way ticket to Iceland. As I passed through security, my phone buzzed one last time. A text from her. "You were never boring. You were terrifying." I smiled, boarded my flight, and left behind the mess she created, and the empire I'd quietly rebuilt beneath it all. Epilogue. 1 year later. It was a crisp October morning in Reykjavik. I stood on the balcony of my modest but sleek modern cabin overlooking the snow-dusted mountains and still waters of Thingvallavatn. The peace was intoxicating, something I hadn't truly felt in over a decade. Life had changed. I'd kept my promise to myself. After Talia's betrayal, I sold off the last of my US-based consultancy shares and moved to Iceland under a new business venture, a quiet digital forensics firm that I ran anonymously through proxies. It wasn't for profit. It was to help people like me, those who had been blindsided by betrayal and didn't have the resources to fight back. I called it the Lighthouse Initiative. Quiet, precise, devastatingly effective. As for Talia, she was no longer the woman who had walked smugly out of our shared life with $400,000 and a passport full of illusions. After the internal investigation and the damning footage I released, her company fired her publicly. A few publications picked up the story, and her name was dragged through the mud. Turns out, Alec had scammed more than just her. He'd fled to Dubai with a forged identity, and when authorities caught up with him, he handed over everything, including screenshots of their texts plotting financial fraud. She was arrested again 6 months later, this time for fraud and identity theft. She avoided jail with a plea bargain, but the restitution payments broke her. Her credit was destroyed. She now worked a part-time job managing bookings at a failing gym in a strip mall in Nevada. I never answered her final email. It was a subjectless line that simply read, "Do you ever miss what we had?" I didn't open it. I didn't need to. Alec? He didn't vanish fast enough. The forged documents tied to his Dubai escape left a paper trail, and a class action lawsuit by other victims landed him behind bars in Bahrain. Last I checked, he was serving a 10-year sentence for financial fraud. Fitting, considering he once mocked me for being too safe. As for me, I made peace with the past, not by forgetting it, but by weaponizing it into something meaningful. I kept my principles. I stayed silent while the storm passed. And when the time came, I didn't need to shout. I let the truth do the screaming. Closing. Quote, "The best revenge isn't rage, it's rebuilding. Quietly, powerfully, in full view of those who thought you'd never rise again." Was this revenge perfectly justified? Tell us what you would have done in the comments below. Like the story, share it with someone who needs this energy, and subscribe to Lauren's story for more jaw-dropping tales of betrayal and justice. Because here, every lie has its reckoning, and every betrayal finds its shadow. Stay sharp, stay strong, and stay tuned. Stay